Hi everyone, welcome back to Almost Normal. So I feel like I start this podcast a lot by saying that I was having some sort of mental breakdown and then I did a thing and it made me feel better, and then I talk about what I did to make myself feel better. And I think that's probably because I have a lot of mental breakdowns and my life is basically revolved around me trying to figure out how to not freak out about certain things. And I like to talk about personal experiences on this podcast. And so I would assume the reason it is a common theme is because it happens commonly in my life. And I'm afraid today is no different. However, this is something that I think will be a long-term change. And I'm pretty excited to talk about it today. So let us get into it. Okay, so in full Rita fashion, we start today by saying, yesterday I was having a mental breakdown. But when I say mental breakdown, I mean the end of the world was happening inside of my head, okay? Yesterday, I fully convinced myself to stop doing the podcast. Actually, in fact, to stop doing anything, any kind of project, anything that I was involved in. I'm ugly, I'm stupid. No wonder I don't get that many views. Who the fuck would want to look at my face? I have no interesting things to talk about. I don't have a personality. I don't have character. I have nothing. I'm going to stop doing this now. I'm going to stop making the podcast now. The other thing that was happening yesterday was, and I don't like to say it's ADHD because I have not been diagnosed with ADHD. However, I've had a lot of people on this channel say, hey, do you have ADHD? Because a lot of the things you talk about seems like you might. But I don't want to say it's ADHD because I have not been diagnosed by a medical professional yet. But the other thing that was happening yesterday was I am packing up my house. I'm traveling tomorrow because I'm leaving for the summer to travel, and I'm renting out my house. So other people have to move in, so I have to move all of my shit out. So I have to pack. I have to pack for my trip, and I have a lot of finishing things I have to pack up for the house. And whether or not it's ADHD, whatever is going on in my mind, it spiked yesterday. It spiked to limits I have not experienced before. And it looked a little bit like this. It looked a little bit like me sitting in front of the camera saying, okay, let's try and film something. Sitting in front of the camera for 10 minutes, having a freak out. Going to the other side of my house and saying, okay, well, we also have to pack, so let's try and be a little bit productive today. Sit down in front of my suitcase, try and figure out what I want to wear for my holiday. Can't do that, can't focus, don't care, hate it. Go back to the camera, sit in front of the camera for another 10 minutes, try and film something else. Get completely distracted by the fact that I have to pack. Go back and try and pack. And this went on for hours, okay? I sat in front of the suitcase, 10 minutes, sat in front of the camera, 10 minutes. This went on, and I kid you not, hours. I think it probably started at like 11 a.m. and ended at 6 p.m. That was my whole day yesterday. And then also crying in between because I was so sad that I wanted to quit the podcast, and I was so sad that I was giving up on my dreams. It was not a good day. No, it wasn't. It was a bad day. And I felt really shitty about myself because I had achieved nothing and I'd spent a whole day achieving nothing. I was just mean to myself and it wasn't a good day. So eventually I went to bed. Eventually I was like, I'm just going to call this day right off. Like, nothing can be done. I'm not able to focus. I'm not able to feel good about myself. I'm just not able to do anything today, and I just have to accept that, and I'm just going to go to bed. And the other interesting thing about yesterday was that I was just kind of accepting of my feelings. I was just like, I'm sad about it, but fuck it, I don't care. Like, I didn't have a lot of anxiety around it. And typically, when I have a mental breakdown and I can't seem to film anything, or I can't seem to do my homework, or I can't seem to be productive in any sort of way, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. For some reason yesterday, I didn't have that anxiety. It was just like, fuck it, I don't care. Which, led me to think maybe I'm just really, really depressed today, which, is not common for me. I'm not that much of a depressive person. I'm an extremely anxious person typically, but depression is not something that is very overriding in my mind, which I'm very grateful for. So, yesterday was odd. It was a different kind of day for me, a different kind of day to the ones I have experienced in the last 10 years or so. So I went to bed. Eventually, I was like, fuck it. I don't know. There's nothing else I can do really here. I can just do the packing tomorrow and that's it. I made up my mind. I want to cancel all projects I've been working on. I don't have it in me anymore. And this was a very sudden realization, by the way. Like, it wasn't like I had been thinking about quitting the podcast forever and yesterday I decided to do it. It was just like, yesterday I decided it and I was sure of it and that was it. And I just felt a bit sad, but whatever. This morning, however, I woke up feeling a little bit different. I opened my eyes, I managed to get out of bed, had a coffee, I looked out the window and I started noticing all these colours, all these colours that I probably was seeing every day. I've been living in this house for a while. Today I woke up and I started to realise how beautiful everything looked. And I felt very excited about the day ahead of me. And the day ahead of me was no different. It was packing. And if I wasn't actually serious about quitting the podcast, it was also filming a podcast episode. That was my day today. I had a coffee, got a little ready, did a little packing, was feeling very fucking productive, was looking at myself in the mirror with no makeup on, just woke up like this, being like, damn girl, you are hot as shit. Oh my God. Yo, did you do something different with your eyebrows? Like what's going on? Loving the acne. Love it. It's giving you a youthful look. I love it. All those little acne marks and spots. It looks amazing. Like, you look like a god today, okay? You look like a god, okay? I went out, got in my car, and drove to Pilates, which was at 12 p.m. Before this, yesterday and a few days prior to that, yesterday was sort of when it all came crashing down, but I hadn't been feeling great for at least 5 days before yesterday. And every single time, for some reason, this was something that really got to me. Every single time I would hear music on the radio or I would play a song, I couldn't get into it. I could not enjoy the music. I would just switch to the next. There was nothing that was hitting right. Sad, rock, anything. Nothing felt satisfying to me, but I really wanted to listen to music all the time. I find it hard to drive in silence because my head, but no music worked. No music really got into my soul and felt good. Today, it was banger after banger after banger after banger, rock, pop, Coldplay was playing and I was like, hell yeah. Lil Wayne started playing and I was like, oh yeah. Fall Out Boy started playing and I was like, oh my God, this is just heaven. How is every song on my shuffle just so good? Okay, The Madness started playing and I was like, oh, how? It was like God made this playlist for me and I was just feeling so fucking good. Every single song just belting, windows down, belting out the lyrics. I was a different person, okay? Went to my Pilates class. I pushed myself harder than I've ever pushed myself ever fucking before. I have never forced myself to work as hard as I did today. Never. Every time I felt burning in my muscles from staying in the plank for too long, I was like, let's just stay in this for longer. And I just fucking became the Hulk. The Hulk, okay? I left that class being like, girl, you are awesome. You fucking killed that shit. And I took breaks. Let me just say I took breaks. But when I was leaving that class, I was like, don't worry about the little breaks. You did fucking awesome. You did amazing. If I had done that class yesterday and I took breaks, I would have been leaving that class being like, you're a piece of shit. Why'd you take a break? Are you a loser? What's going on? But today, no. Today, it was you're a god. Everything you touch turns to gold. You're fucking amazing. Love you. Also no anxiety. Hardly any anxiety. Minuscule amount of anxiety, which is odd because I had a lot of shit to do today. And I'm traveling tomorrow. I get the worst travel anxiety. Usually, I don't seem to have any. I don't know where it's gone. It is so weird. I don't know where my anxiety is gone. And if anyone's watching this and they're like, well, this girl probably didn't have as bad anxiety as I did. I literally multiple times have been wanting to send myself into some sort of psychiatric unit because I'm like, I don't know if I can live in this planet like this. I feel afraid of everything. But today, the day before traveling for months, I feel fine. Like, what is that? Okay. I then like realized I hadn't done some really important shit. I had to pick up some prescriptions for someone who had been texting me every single day about it, and I completely forgot, and today's the last day I could have done it. Then I realized that they gave me the prescription and I had packed up my whole fucking house. My whole fucking house is in boxes. I then realized I had to probably go through every single box to try and find the prescription in order to go pick up the stuff today. It was already 2 p.m. It was fine. I didn't care. I wasn't worried about it, you know? I was like, okay, let's just go. Let's just figure it out. We're gonna deal with this. We're gonna deal with this. You know, I emailed the doctor and I was like, hey, like if I misplace this person's prescription, is there a chance you can send me another one? They said no. Okay, fine, don't worry. I found it in the end. There was no panic. I had no panic. That was a panicful situation, typically for me. You know, I am leaving literally tomorrow morning at like 5 a.m. Like this was the last chance I had to do it. And if you saw the tower of boxes in which my shit is in, you would have been like, oh, this is just not going to happen. Like, we are not finding this prescription, this little piece of paper in like 100 cardboard boxes. Like, we are just simply not finding this thing. And I found it. And, there was zero panic before. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm like reliving it now and it's just like, what? Like, who the fuck was that person? I drove to the pharmacy to go pick up the prescription and realized I didn't have my fucking ID. This was a particular prescription you need an ID for, you know? I was like, oh, well, all right. Well, let's just figure it out when we get there. It was crazy. There was a whole problem with the parking. I didn't care. It was crazy. It was crazy. Literally, like, what? The change in personalities was wild, okay? And my husband saw me today and he was just like, Jesus Christ, like, you're a different person. Like, yesterday I was worried. Yesterday I was genuinely worried. Like, you're usually a really upbeat person. Yesterday it was like dark. It was there was darkness inside of you. And I was like, yes, I felt that. I feel reborn today. I don't know what's going on. Here's what I believe is happening, because I did a little research. This is what I believe is happening. I have been on the pill, the contraceptive pill, for 10 years. 11 years. And I have never had a break. Never. And a lot of people told me, like, I think you shouldn't be on this for that long because it might be affecting your mood. And I simply didn't believe them. I didn't believe them. You know, I was just like, look, I'm just an anxious person. I have OCD. I'm anxious. It has nothing to do with the pill. I never believed them. I never, ever, took the time to consider that maybe the medication I'm on is actually genuinely affecting me as a human being. I didn't think about it, okay? I have been sober for 5 years from drugs and alcohol. Then, I was not in tune with my body. I had no, thought about my body. I was abusing my body completely. And if I ever felt sick or anxious or worried or depressed, I would always just blame it on the fact that I had probably had a few too many drinks the night before, or I had done something that I shouldn't have done and now I'm feeling the effects of it. Like, I was so out of tune with my body. The only thing I ever blamed anything on was alcohol and drugs. Then I got sober, and I've been sober for 5 years, but you have to understand that getting sober is hugely transitional. And it's not just about stopping drinking and stopping doing drugs. Like, there are so many things that come with being sober. It's insane. And so I believe it has taken me 5 years to start to genuinely consider, like, my body as a whole, and like starting to consider changing things that I haven't thought to change in a decade. Literally. And I think recently I've started to really consider making moves when it comes to my health, and making scary moves at that, Changing things you've done every single day for 10 years is a little bit scary, okay? Like, what's gonna happen to me? Is my head gonna fall off? Like, I literally don't know. I have not lived as an adult, or even like hardly as a teenager, without this medication, and I now feel like I want to stop it. Like, that's scary, that is a scary thing to consider, but it's something that I just realized I have not been like without this ever. My prefrontal cortex had not, I'd never been without this pill while my prefrontal cortex was developed. I don't know who I am. I literally don't know myself as a person. When I stopped taking it, I really didn't think that there would be this amount of change. I really, really didn't. Like, even when I stopped taking it, I still was like, I really don't think that it had been affecting me. I think I've always been anxious. I think I've always had OCD. I've been off of the pill for 2 months now, and like, I'm noticing big change. Big change. Big change. One of the things that I thought was actually a plus about being on the pill was that, I would hear my friends talk about being on their period and stuff, and how almost made them bedbound, and they had horrible mood swings, and it just sounded so terrible. And I would always sort of convince myself that I was also going through these changes in mood and stuff like that. Because on the pill, you still have a little bit of a period, like, you might get a little cranky because your tummy hurts a little bit and stuff like that, but it's nothing like what, like, you go through during a natural cycle, which I'm just realizing now, by the way, at 27 years old. It's nothing like that. And I would talk to my friends about it, and I would say, oh yeah, me too, like, I hate being on my period. But in my head, I was like, I don't fucking care about being on my period. It affects me in no way. In no way. I get a tiny little bit of blood. Maybe I like want to eat a candy bar or something, but that's pretty much it. Like, I don't feel like I don't really feel like I'm feeling everything everyone else is feeling. And I thought that was a plus, okay? Because I just was always kind of on the same level of like emotion. Always. Anxious, absolutely. Always anxious. I've always been anxious. I had been numbing a lot of feelings from the drugs and alcohol. So for a while, from like 14 to 22, I didn't really understand that I was super anxious or had OCD or anything like that, because I was always drunk or hungover or something, and every feeling I would feel, I would just blame it on my addiction problem. And then when I got sober, then in this 5 years, I've really noticed my mental health problems, like, fully. But I've always sort of been on this level of mood, always very just like, and then it's just always like this, and then a little anxiety, and then like this. I have moments of happiness, or I have had moments of happiness, but like pure bliss and glee comes very rarely. Very rarely. Like, those moments of like euphoric happiness, I really don't experience a lot. My life has sort of been very on this same level, and I really don't get very depressed. I don't get very, very sad. It's just this and a little of anxiety, and that's it. And so when I was hearing my friends talking about the huge ups and downs, I was like, oh my God, I don't want that. Now that I feel like I am feeling the full effects of a natural cycle, I can pretty much confirm that was not a good thing. The lack of emotion I was feeling was not a good thing, because I wasn't feeling the lows, but I also really, really was not feeling the highs. And that is crazy to me. I have been feeling today extremely euphoric, extremely happy. It's almost as if my happiness has been distracting me from my OCD tendencies and my anxiety. I have been feeling lifted in a way that I don't know if I have. And if I have, it's been very short spurts of feeling that way. And today, it's sort of been riding all day. I've just been feeling very, very upbeat, very positive about myself and everything I'm doing, and excited about everything. Anxiety is not the overriding emotion in which I usually feel, but I've just been feeling like, dare I say it, joy. And I don't know how to feel about her. I don't know how to feel about her. She feels fucking great. No, like, my mind, I'm just like, when is it gonna end? But I've been feeling good. Better than I have in years. And to be honest, better than I've ever have, because I don't even remember pre-16 me having deep emotions. I'm sure I did, but like, I don't remember. So for me, today has been one of the first days where I feel happiness. I'm definitely not saying my OCD and anxiety is gone. I'm still doing the little sort of like OCD rituals that I do, but I'm wondering whether I just have fear of the fear, and so I'm just doing the rituals in order to not feel anxious about something I did later in the day. But so far, I don't feel like I'm really obsessing over anything. But when I say the fear of the fear, like, I'll do rituals to make myself feel better in the future. And so I've learned those things. And so I think today I wasn't actually feeling anxiety. I was just like, what if I feel anxious later? Let's just do those routines anyway, just to avoid something bad happening later. But I don't think that I've been genuinely feeling anxious today. I have been riding on a nice wave, and I just been feeling happy. And I started to research a little bit like the natural cycle, because I've never done that before. I know it sounds insane, I'm 27 years old, I've never done that before. Like, I don't know the phases of a period. I have absolutely no idea. And I feel like if I had been feeling these feelings my whole life, I definitely would have looked into it because I'm very interested in stuff like that. But I just was always on a very, like, you know, mild emotional path. And so I never looked into it. I never did. And so I started to research it, and it's clear to me that this is what I'm going through. It's pretty fucking clear as day, because it's all coming together with like the physical aspects of what's happening in my body. Like the mental and the physical are both like relating to what I've been reading about. And I'm kind of mind blown. But I'm going to go through the phases of the natural cycle of a woman's period because it's really interesting, and I don't know if anyone's ever read through this. I'm sure a lot of people have. This is like, I'm a new woman. It feels like I am a different person. And it's you know, of course, me taking the bad stuff out of something good, but it's like kind of sad. Like, I feel like I don't even know myself that well. Like, I feel like I've just numbed myself completely for the last 10 years, and now I'm finally just like understanding that life is like a really great, happy thing. And yes, we're going to feel the deep emotional lows, but we're also going to get the highs. And according to the cycle, the lows are the shortest period. We shall see. Also, if anyone's thinking, oh, you've been off the pill for 2 months, like if it was really the effects of coming off of the pill that you were feeling, wouldn't you have felt them last month? But actually, I don't think so, because it takes a while for your reproductive system to like wake up. And it's been asleep for 10 years in my case. So it needed some time to like understand what the fuck it was meant to do. So I would assume that for the first month it was rediscovering itself, and now I'm genuinely starting to feel what's going on. So number 1 is the menstrual phase, which is day 1 to 5, aka your period, the dramatic entrance. Okay, hormones are at their lowest. You feel tired, foggy, maybe sad. That was another thing. I kept forgetting things. I would walk into rooms and I did not know why I was there. It was very odd. You might question your life, your purpose, your outfit from last week. I was doing that hardcore. I was just like, what have I been doing? What have I been doing in my life? Physically, cramps, bloating, and low energy. Definitely was feeling all of that. Emotionally vulnerable, sensitive, and just wanted to be alone. Yes. Literally yes to everything. And this is when I was having like a heavy bleeding period. Okay, number 2 is the follicular phase, which is day 6 to 13. This is when the estrogen rises and energy builds, which is like what I'm feeling today. Brain feels clearer, creativity returns, social battery recharges. Yes. Skin often glows, body feels lighter. I think I am glowing today, but that's just my opinion about how I feel like I look. You're ready to plan, flirt, create, or clean your whole flat. Like, that is literally me. I feel like so productive today. It's crazy. And I was like pushing myself to my limits in my Pilates class today. Before, I've just been sort of like not wanting to do it at all. Number 3 is the ovulation phase, which is day 14 to 16. I would also, just to go back to the follicular phase, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that starts on day 6 when you're typically finishing your period. And I literally finished my period yesterday, and today I don't have any period and I feel like $100. Okay, so 3 is ovulation phase, day 14 to 16. Your peak main character energy. So I'm fucking excited for that because I have not hit that yet. Estrogen is at its highest. Oh my God, I am craving this moment in my life. You might feel confident, magnetic, sexy, invincible. Like, I feel like I feel all of those things right now, so I'm pretty excited about that. Your body's like, let's make a baby. You're like, let's make a podcast. I love that. Yes. I haven't gotten to this bit yet. If it's more than what I'm feeling now, that's pretty fun. Social skills peak, charming, articulate, and open. Again, I can't respond to this in a personal way because I haven't gotten to this part yet. This is the dangerous phase where you make 10 plans, commit to 12 projects, and flirt with my goals and the guy at the Pilates class. I am married, so I don't do that. But anyway, that sounds really fun. Okay, number 4 is the luteal phase, day 17 to 28, aka things start getting weird. See, I'm afraid of this. Okay, progesterone rises and estrogen drops. No, estrogen don't go. No. Key in that like meme of Leonardo DiCaprio being like, no, don't turn 24. No. Okay, and energy dips, moods shift, Body slows down. Sounds whack. Don't want that. You might feel bloated, moody, anxious, irritable, avoidant. Yes. OCD and anxiety may spike here. This is often the hardest phase. Cancel plans. We think everyone hates me. Re-download a meditation app I won't open. Yes, yes, and yes, and yes. And then we go back to the beginning. And so I feel like I just finished the menstrual phase and now I'm in that like sunny follicular phase. Ovulation phase sounds pretty fun. Pretty excited about that. What like naughty stuff will I get into then? Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of my thing today. I feel like I wasn't told enough about the pill. Like my doctor was just very adamant that I didn't get pregnant, which is like, okay, thank you very much. But like also, this is like a way of life that I really haven't experienced before. And yes, I've only been through it for like a week now, but it is so clear a difference. And I'm sure a lot of people will be watching this and be like, I'm on it, like I'm anxious, but this person's probably not as anxious as I have been. I literally wanted to send myself into psychiatric units like a couple times in my life because I genuinely felt like I was not able to function in this society because I was just anxious and fearful of literally everything and everyone. And now, or like at least just today, I just haven't really been feeling that. And it's just going with that phase. And I'm pretty convinced that that's what's going on. And it is genuinely a wild feeling. And I'm very excited to see what happens for the rest of the week. The ovulation phase, trust me, I'll be doing an update, let you guys know how that is. Because that sounds super fucking fun. But yeah, I genuinely feel like I have just been like numbing myself as a human being for the past 11 years, which is scary, but also very exciting that I have come to terms and understood that now. Could have taken me 10 more years to figure that out. So I'm grateful and happy that this could be, a big change in my life. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that quickly because it's a revelation for me. And I know like I've been a woman my whole 27 years and I'm just discovering that. And I think that's okay. I think that's fine. Better late than never, So I'm really excited. I'm going to update you guys a lot. You're going to be hearing a lot about this shit because I don't even know who I am today. I literally don't know who I am. I am feeling excited. I'm so excited to go pack right now. I can't even tell you. But yeah, I just want to talk about that. I feel like it's important. And this is a girly podcast, right? We're going to talk about girl stuff. And this is like the major girl stuff. Like this is the girliest of girly stuff. So anywho, I do have to actually go and pack now. It's 7:30 p.m. I leave for the airport at 5 a.m. So I should really start getting ready to leave. But I couldn't wait to update you guys on this. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm nervous. The luteal phase sounds fucking horrible and I'm worried about that. But, I don't want to be on this anymore. I want to be a bit more like that. I think that life will be a little bit more exciting. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens. But I love you guys very much and I just wanted to keep you in the loop and update you and, I want you to know everything and I don't want to quit the podcast. I fucking love the podcast and I love you. Okay, I'm sorry. My camera died and I've packed up all of my stuff for my podcast, so I'm sorry if the production quality of this whole thing looks a little shitty. That's why everything is literally in boxes. But anyway, I don't want to say that I'm not an anxious person and I don't want to say that I don't have OCD now after one day of feeling happy, because that's a little, presumptuous. And I don't think that's true either. Because today, I didn't feel anxiety, but I definitely was thinking about it. So it's too soon to say, but days like today last, then I'll have to definitely seriously consider, taking anti-anxiety medications too. I'm just a little bit shocked by how relatable the phases are for the physical and mental side of things and how relatable it is into with what I'm experiencing now. It just seems so on point, but who knows? This is just a brief update, an early update on how I've been feeling. And we shall see. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I love you guys very much. It was much more of a little update situation, but this could be big things. This could be. Yeah. Alrighty. All right. I love you guys so much. I will see you next time. We won't be in this room. We'll be somewhere else in the world. I'm not sure where. I don't want to quit the podcast. I love you guys. I love being here. I love posting. I love everything about this. Yeah, I'm very happy I came to my senses in time. But yes, anyway, I love you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do. It's super helpful to me, and you can see anytime I post anything. And yeah, I just love you guys, and I will see you next time. Okay, love you.